Hello Padawans, good morning. Welcome to the video. What I'm going to do today is prove once and for all with logic and critical thinking and facts that I do not go real life on anybody, and how I produce my videos based on information that I receive in public channels on YouTube. So what we're going to start doing first is I'm going to draw a map of the West Coast, sort of just a quick map of the West Coast here. Nothing fancy. I didn't prepare or anything. So what we have here is Oregon, California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. And I guess you can add Nevada over here just for fun. You get the idea. So this is the coast. This is California. Down here we have Mexico, Baja. So what I'm going to do right now is show you how I came about creating, editing, writing the most controversial video, I suppose, of 2026 on my channel. And that's Randy and Glowi, a comedy. Let me move the camera a little bit here. That's it. So what we have, I don't know if you guys can see that. I hope you guys can see this. What we have here is logic. Oh God, this is not. Okay, there we go. Well, we have this logic and critical thinking class. How to use common sense. Okay? So I am being accused of spreading false misinformation, digging into personal lives. So let's use another sheet right here before we get to the map. So we're going to have some facts and some fiction. Okay? And that's the way we're going to separate the two. Also, we're going to either be public or private information. And this is mostly, of course, on YouTube. So what is going on is that people are saying that I looked up Glowi and Randy's personal life, and that is fiction. First off, I do not know their names. Okay? The real names, because those are private. So no, I do not know their real names. I have never looked them up. I don't do any of that. The only thing that I know about Randy and Glowi is, their names are Glowi and Randy Poffo. Okay, and sorry about the misspelling. I'm just doing this really quickly here. I'm not trying to impress anyone. This is mostly, I want to show you how I use my creation, how I summarize some of the videos. When I make them, I write down stuff. I say, is this appropriate for a comedy, for a video that I'm going to release? And I do brainstorm, and I do take notes, and I do realize that some of it is fiction, and some of it is public information, and some of it is private. So far, I have never used any private information about Glowi and Randy. I don't know their location. All I know is publicly, Randy is from Canada, and Glowi has said that she's from Boston. She has said that many times due to her accent. So that's all I know. Just sort of the location in a map. That's all I know. And these are facts, and these are private. And I do not dwell on this side of the list. But let's go back to the map. How did I come about making the video where I say that Randy meets Glowi? So let's see here. Let me get my pen. I forgot to add Canada over here. Canada. All right, so this video may be a little long, but I hope that it sort of explains the way I work, the way I write, edit, produce, add music, all that stuff. Usually I use pen and paper. I don't use AI or chat. I don't have any of the AI apps. This is the way I do it. I do it on paper. So let's start by, again, some of the public facts about Randy. Randy said he was going on a trip. So he's taking a trip on a motorcycle. And he posts this info on his channel. Okay, so this is how I got interested in his story, because he said he was going to take a trip on his motorcycle into the United States from Canada. So he started by posting a picture of his motorcycle somewhere over here in Oregon. Now, we all know that the mass spoofer panicked and had a panic attack in one of the panels, and we know that she thought that he was going to come from Canada all the way here to San Diego, and that was the route that she believed that he was going to take. Now, again, this is all public information. I am not going looking for any of this information. Randy made it public. He made it available for everyone on his channel. He posted the images of his motorcycle. He said he was going to take a trip, and he posted an image of him at the park in Eureka where they shot the Star Wars movie Return of the Jedi, and that's fact. So that's not fiction. That's a fact. So Randy posted photographs with location. There you go. So Randy posted, and again, it doesn't have to be all perfect. So we know that I started following the story. I said, this is interesting. This is sort of the same thing with Anthony coming to find me. I knew that Randy was not coming to find me. So I was interested where he was going to take this. To make things easier for you, because it seems a lot of people are thinking that this is difficult. So that's why I'm using drawings and all this stuff. So apparently Randy drives down somewhere here, and he posted another image of his location. I think it's Monterey, something like that. And then he posted another image of him at somewhere like San Francisco or San Jose. So now I'm following the story. I'm following his trip down from Canada, and it's interesting. It's fun, and I'm not scared. I'm not panicking about Randy or anything. But you know, I did believe that he might come down to San Diego, and I don't know if he did or not, because he did not post any images or he didn't write about it. Now, you know, during his trip, again, he had, you know, points on the map that he stopped. He went to different places. But so what I'm doing here is I'm, you know, gathering information. Okay. And what this is this is sort of a critical thinking, which I took 2 classes in college and aced both of them. What we're going to do here is we're going to have R for Randy times 0 equals G. So this is sort of a algebra sort of problem. We got Randy times 0 infinity equals Glowi. So we're trying to find out what this means. What is this? What is the infinity 0? We need to find the you know what this is. This could be anything, right? So this is the problem that we're trying to resolve. This is the critical thinking that you have to resolve. Okay, there's some missing information on his trip that we don't know. All we know are these facts. Okay, Glowi, is her name. Randy Poffo is his name. He's from Canada. She's from Boston. Now, before I wrote that down, of course, I didn't know that he was going to see Glowi. Okay, I didn't know that. So that was not part of the equation when I was doing the, you know, following his travels into the United States, the Southwest. But we know that he's on a motorcycle. We know that he's stopping at different locations. I'm following his channel. I'm reading his community posts. I am following his locations and screenshots of his images, his photographs. Now, some people wonder, and I know this question has been brought up, why does Miller care? Why is this interesting to Jedi Miller? Why does he want to do a video on Randy and Glowi? Well, that was after the fact, after I had gathered all the facts, all the public, remember, these are all public facts. After I gathered all these facts, this was before I made the video. Okay, this is weeks before I made the video. So far, we have nothing on the private section here. Okay, we don't know their real names. We don't know the Randy's license plate. We don't know the type of, I don't even know the type of motorcycle, type of bike. I don't even know that. I don't know where Glowi lives. Okay, I don't know any of this. This is all comes later. Well, not really. I never get to know this. But this is interesting to me because it happened to me in the past with Anthony. So I said, well, I'm going to follow this guy. It seems like a cool story. I like road trips. You know, he's over here. Now he's there. And, you know, San Jose. He's coming down closer to San Diego. So that seems interesting. But let's get another piece of paper here. And let's answer the question, why does Miller care? Why does Jedi Miller, okay, care? Why So I'm going to answer that here. One is Miller liked Glowi. Miller sang for Glowi in many videos. The Never Ending Story, other songs. Miller showed his feet for Glowi. Miller actually cared for Glowi. And I'm talking past tense. So this is why, now it answers your question. Why does Jedi Miller care what Glowi does in her private life? But this is not really private, right? But people are saying that. This is actually public. And Randy is the person that made it public, not Glowi. So now you know that Miller, the other one here, Miller thought Glowi was cool. But that was a long time ago, okay? So now you know why I care about this story. And it's actually a love story. And it's interesting to me because I like love stories and I like road trips. And it's good to see when two people meet. Now let's see the type of people that have met online in this community. You have, of course, you have Laura and Phil. You got Azzy and Derry. And now you have R and G. And other people that you don't know about that I do. But that's not part of the equation. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you how my mind works, how I prepare, and how I use critical thinking to finally conclude by having a premise. So the premise is Randy is taking a trip down here somewhere. And I'm supposed to conclude and summarize, okay, and also with facts, resolve the mystery or solve the mystery. But again, we are doing the equation. So far we have Randy, we have R gathering information for Randy. Now, let's make this quick. Randy makes it to LA. We know this because he posted this on his YouTube. He passes somewhere around this area. Then he heads east to Arizona, where he's also publishing all this information in public access on YouTube. And the last we know is that he went through New Mexico and he posted another image of him and his bicycle. And then we know that he went somewhere into Texas. And that's the last time we had an update from Randy. So what we have here is pretty simple stuff, right? But since I use logic and I'm trying to do this, what you have to do is you have to take all the facts, all the information. You have to transform the premise into actual facts somehow. You might be wrong in some of them, but overall you have like a high percentage rate of like 80%. Okay, now I know that a lot of people are saying, well, you might be a little crazy, so we're gonna add into fiction, we're going to add remote viewing. Now, as you know, I am a good remote viewer. I have all the books and all the tapes. So I have tapes, books on remote viewing. Okay? So that's part of the fiction part, because I know people don't believe in fiction. Well, let's call this science fiction, sci-fi. Let's call this sci-fi, all right? So far we got a lot of facts. We got all the locations of Randy and his motorcycle. We have his community post. We're following his progress down into California. Now we know that he's no longer posting. So this is end of Randy's public information. Okay. So this is all the stuff that he was public. That's it. We don't have any more of that. So that ended right there. We know that he went somewhere this way, and that was about it. Now, let's get another piece of paper. I know this sounds a little crazy. You can't believe that I made a video based on all these notes. And basically, they're not theories. This is actual science. When it comes to critical thinking and logic, it's actual science. I took classes for this, and I got aces. So now what we have here is we have A, okay, which is Randy's trip. So that's his whole trip right there, right? And then we don't know anything about Glowi. Glowi, we don't know. There's a question mark. What the hell happened to Glowi? During this trip, we don't know anything about Glowi, because she doesn't say anything on her channel about this. So we're only hearing it from one side. We're only hearing it from Randy's side. So, and I'm trying to make this simple for you, but I know that you guys are slow, and you guys are trolls, and you're trying to blame me for going real life and looking people up. That never happens. So I'm here to explain the process of sort of elimination, sort of the process of deductive reasoning, and using your experience to come up with a great and amazing video and a conclusion. Okay, so what we want a good conclusion, right? And we want them based on facts. But again, you got to fill in the blanks, okay? The blanks. And the blanks are filled immediately on Richard Groyper's panel. Richard has a panel, Richard Groyper. And in this panel, you hear Randy plus Glowi equals same room, same location. So that answers the question for you. It says, well, we don't know where Randy went. Now let's look at the map. So here in this map, we know that it ended here. But then days later, maybe a week later, we know that somewhere up here in the East Coast, now we know that Randy is over here with Glowi. So now we know we can fill in the missing link that we had. We had a missing road trip, a missing road, a missing freeway. We didn't have all the information, right? So now we know that he came from here somewhere this way, and he made it up to where Glowi is. So, and I'm guessing, it's a guess, Boston. That's just a guess. Going by all the information that we know from Glowi for years and years. So that's how I know that. That's how I use common sense. And that's how I know that the trip, Randy's trip, was from here down here. Now I did add something in the video that is fiction. Okay. And that is Glowi's visit. Morgan's visit. Morgan's visit. Now, that was only made as a sort of a comedy addition to the story. I don't have any proof that he stopped by Morgan's, but you'll have to understand this was a video parody comedy. And obviously that's what it was. And if you don't understand that it was comedy, you need a break from YouTube. Okay? You really do. So now we know now we have the solution to the problem. We have the formula again. Let's do the formula. We have R times 0 equals G. Now we know what 0 is. Okay, 0 is Glowi's location. Okay? So we didn't know what this was. We don't know how to get to this. But since we got a voice from Randy on panel, that certifies and verifies his end trip. Okay, where he is. Where is Randy? Where is Randy? So this is answered by Randy being with Glowi. So now we know he's there. That is all public. I did not record any of that. If anybody is to blame for privacy issues, is Randy, because he's the one who made this public to everyone, and he knows that I do this. He knows how I work. We are from Belgab, and this is how Belgab works. We study human behavior, human capacity, logic, critical thinking, and we also add a little bit of fun and a little bit of fiction. But it does not change the 80% facts of the premise and the calculations and the equation that we now know that Randy went to see Glowi. Now, how do I know the other stuff? Well, let's write this down. This is from Glowi's history on YouTube. We know that she is open to relationships. She has said this many times. She's an open marriage. Open marriage. She has been asked. She has talked about it on panels. She has. This is not a mystery. This is not private. This is not private. Let's go here to the facts. Let's add. Glowi is into open marriage. And this is actual fact, because she said it numerous times on panel. Numerous times. This is not fiction. So that's part of this side. So now we know that Glowi likes to have open relationships in marriage. Now, finally, because I know this video is taking a little bit too long, now we have to know what are Randy and Glowi, what are they doing here? What is the insight? Okay, is it tea? Are they drinking tea? They're having tea? No, that you got to take that out. So if Randy came from all the way from Canada to meet Glowi, now we know those are facts. That's not private information. That's not going into anybody's business or life or anything. Now we want to know is why are Randy and Glowi meeting? To have tea, that's out of the equation. That's an X. To have a baby, that's unlikely. That's like very zero chance. Okay? So you have to keep making all these assumptions when you're using logic and critical thinking, sort of like Spock in Star Trek. I know, I brought it up. So finally you come to the conclusion that it's sex. That's it. So because you have to, you could do a list of all the things of people that are going to get together and meet in real person and why. So the real answer is sex. And that's the nobody have to tell me anything. I'm using deductive, reasoning here. And psychology. Basic psychology, basic human drive, human emotion and goals. And this is what men want. They want sex. So that's how I came to that conclusion. So I hope this explains what I was doing. And I don't want to hear any more about this. I think I explained it thoroughly in 30 minutes, how I came to make the video. And of course we know that the video is comedy. And I will link the video. I will make the video, put the video in the comment. The final video, all right, was to write a story, basic, simple, easy to understand. Easy to understand, plain language. Here you go. Plain language. When you're doing this stuff, you got to know your audience. You always got to think of your audience as low IQ. So you got to make the video as simple as you can for them, so they can understand. You don't want to overcomplicate things. So that's why I made that video. It's a comedy. It has music that obviously is comedy. It has a storyline that I wrote based on all this information. And I do say that it could be true or false or fiction, or it could be true. And that was up to you. That was up to you to believe the video or not, based on all the information that I had gathered, which I probably should have showed to you before I made the video. And I hope you understand where I'm coming from. We all know where Randy went. We all know what Glowi does. We all know how Glowi talked to Randy on panel. Obviously, voice tone, flirting on panels, so we knew there was an attraction to Randy. You include all that, you include her behavior, and now you know that all this concludes my ultimate conclusion and summary for what happened in their love story. See you guys later, and may the force be with you. Goodbye.